As many of you know, IDW is publishing the official My Little Pony Friendship is Magic comic book series under the license they have acquired from Hasbro. This deal includes the main series of comics, featuring stories that act as a bridge between Season 2 and Season 3 of the series. The micro series, which features shorter stories set before the beginning of the series, and My Little Pony Animated, which is literally just a still shots from the animated series, with added speech bubbles and sound effects intended for the younger readers. When I first heard about this deal, I was interested, because it would have been a great way to expand the lore of Equestria, and give us some official content during the gap between the third and the fourth season of the animated series. The first 4 issues were written by Katie Cook and drawn by Andy Price, and it reveals what happened to Queen Crystallis and the Changelings after the events of Candlelight's wedding. The story revolves around Crystallis' blood to revenge the Twilight Sparkle, even though in the episode it was actually Cadence who saved the day with shining armor, whilst Main 6 is trying to get back Cutimark Crusaders, who have been kidnapped as a part of Crystallis' blood. Despite its flaws, like overuse of pop culture references and implied murder of a cat-like creature by Crystallis, I enjoyed it a lot. Every issue they cover a different part of our hero journey to the Changeling Kingdom. They have different, imaginative encounters occurring throughout the journey, good amount of character interaction and satisfying climax. The art style is joy to look at, with all the little details put into the panels. I recommend you to read it if you already haven't, since it is a worthy addition to the Friendship is Magic saga. The second arc, written by Heather Newfer and drawn by Amy Bebeson, is not at all great. I would even say it is
B.A.D. bad.
But since the positivity is a virtue, let's start what's actually good in it. Art. It's quite average, but it features some odd shots from the faces of the several ponies, but it does its job. Now let's move on. We start off with the scene where Twilight is chased by something, which we as an audience won't get to see. Right up in the next page, we see Twilight's library in a broad daylight, without any explanation whatsoever. As obviously sleep-deprived Twilight goes out with Spike, she quite literally crashes to Rainbow Dash, who also has been plagued by these nightmares for past week. In fact, every member of the main 6 has been having these nightmares, except Pinkie Pie because she just doesn't give a damn, as they tell when they catch Twilight talking with Dashi. They are puzzled by what's going on, so to figure it out, they all decide to have a slumber party together. After they are done taking part of such slumber party necessities, like makeover and pillow fight, even though you think they are too tired to do such things because they haven't slept proper for a whole week, they go to sleep, only to see more nightmares. Their sleep is soon interrupted though, due to the fact that Rarity is being taken by the unknown Dark Cloud. As they hurry outside, Daisy takes off with Fluttershy, and they chase after the Cloud and Rarity. Aadi almost catches Rarity and the Cloud, only to witness them vanishing before her eyes. The group returns to library in order to contact Celestia and Luna, which turns out not being necessary since they already know what's going on, somehow, and thus already being there. They inform our heroes that Rarity was taken by the same force, called Nightmare Energy, that possessed Luna in the first place, proving the fan theory of an outside force correct, in form of 5-page long info dump. Immediately we can notice that Luna appears the same way as she did in the second episode of the series, even though the events of the comic, as I said earlier, are set after the second season. She also acts more anxious and downplayed compared to the way she acted in Luna Eclipsed, which brings up the question did either the writer or the artist see that episode? Sure, I imagine of remembering being possessed for 1,000 or so years being painful, but she seemed more confident earlier. Uncertain and alienated, but it looked like she got some of her confidence back after she learned to chill out and have fun during the nightmare night. What happened? Someone shot her with the bloody bazooka when she was visiting someone in their sleep, and that's why all the character progression what we saw earlier got reset? You'd think that she would be a bit more aggressive when a force that enslaved her for 1,000 years comes back and steals one of her subjects. Anyway, Luna decides to go to the moon to investigate what's going on, alone, while our heroes protest the idea. Celestia agrees that they should come with her, so Luna decides to take main 6-1 and Spike with her to the moon, since after all they possess the elements of harmony, even though they are useless without one of the elements being present, as we saw in the Return of Harmony. The issue ends with a base where we see Rarity held captive by the darknesses, leading us to the next issue. And trust me everybody, if you thought this was bad, it's only going downhill from here. Right off the bat, our heroes encounter a problem, namely, how they are going to get to the freaking moon. Well, apparently our omnipotent ruler have come up with a completely sensible and foolproof plan. Namely, lasso the moon with a common rope and pull it too closer to planet so that they can just walk or fly there. I did not make this up! Celestia literally uses her magic to lasso the freaking moon. Sure, with the help of Luna's magic over the night sky. But even if we don't take account the fact where did she get long enough rope, it's still a fucking stupid idea. For example, what if the moon accidentally starts falling towards the ground on its own and goes to Mina, since the gravity of Equestria seems to work like it does in our world? And even if they manage to prevent that, wouldn't actually cause more massive floods and droughts all over the planet, given the stronger gravity from the moon causes the more drastic tidal effect. And what happens when Luna lets moon go? If it doesn't crash down to the planet, of course it has to orbit it, with a speed that causes even more disasters all over the planet, because the set tides would be so violent that they wash everything away, no matter how far away the given place is from the water. Overall, the fall scene is something I'd imagine Pinkie Pie would come up, and under no circumstances by Celestia, since it would endanger every living being on Equestria. Furthermore, if the main method of traveling to the moon is to lasso it so that it can be pulled closer to the planet, then A. How the heck Celestia got Luna to the moon in the first place, if she didn't use the elements of harmony to teleport her dear sis to there? And B. If you can just fly through the space, since the point of the lasso is to shorten the distance, what actually prevented Nightmare Moon just flying back to Equestria in first place? Anyway, our heroes pull the moon close enough, and they proceed to cross the rope in order to get there. Except for RD, Fluttershy and Luna, who just fly there. However, because Spike decides to dress full suit of armor for some bizarre reason, and I'm just going to ignore why he did at all that in such a short notice, his fate causes rope to snap, resulting everyone on the rope to fall. See, I said it was a bad idea, and forcing Luna to levitate them to the moon. At the service, in a discussion between Filey and Luna, we are revealed that moon is apparently inhabited, and its inhabitants were enslaved by the darkness, and thus once peaceful inhabitants of the alien world are turned into monsters. Hard to believe, since the place looks quite barren and hostile from what I can see. Meanwhile, Rarity is having a discussion with the Nightmare Energy, whose name is revealed to be Larry. Larry Shadowfright, which, by the way, is the most banal name you can think of! Way to take popular and interesting fan theory and make it completely lame by naming the dog Deity Corrupting Presence Larry. If this is supposed to be some sort of clever Twin Peaks reference, then our fair writer really has earned her school diploma from University of Very Special People. Either that, or she just didn't give a shit. Anyway, back in the evil-looking throne room, Larry tries to convince Larity to become the queen of the moon people. So, what is his loveless logic? I'm glad you asked. His reasoning goes that it would be generous from Rarity, being that she possessed the element of generosity, and that her friends would anyway replace her with some pony with a bit less attitude. Yeah, betray your friends to the reason that makes you unique amongst your friends. Kinda like saying to Fluttershy that she should kick someone on crotch when asked, because it would be kind from her. But, from some bizarre reason, Rarity gets worried about this, and Rarity said that if she promises to become Queen of Nightmares, her generosity will never be taken granted. So Rarity decides to give in, and we see Larry engulf her. After that, we return back to our heroes, who are walking forward whilst talking about their situation, when they notice that Dark Cloud is chasing after them. The cloud catches them, and they get transported into the similar nightmares they were having at the slumber party. And they don't seem to get what's going on, even though they knew where they were getting into. Except Pinkie Pie, who just tells Nightmares to fuck off. So it's up to Luna to wake everyone up, even Twilight, who doesn't realize what's going on, because Celestia in her nightmare says this convincing statement: "Your lack of knowledge has killed the friendship." It's just jarring why ponies don't get what's going on, because they were transported from the surface of the moon back to Equestria all of a sudden. Unless that Dark Cloud was made out of nougat gas, which would explain everything. After every pony is woken up, our heroes are confronted by the Nightmare people, and Larry. Larry teases Luna about her past, and Luna doesn't seem to do a whole lot to fight against him. So it's up to Main 5 to step up and defend her, and specifically tell her that they are her friends, even though there's only been 2 or 3 instances in the past when they have been interacting together. One being Nightmare Night, when everyone but Twilight seemed to be afraid of her. It seems, however, that Luna hasn't been completely honest with her friends, as she thinks to herself, implying there's some foul play going on. Probably meaning she's been working with Larry this whole time. After that, Larry reveals the new Queen of Nightmare people, accompanied with the Mushroom Cloud. And in the final page, we get to see the new rule of Night and Fear, Nightmare Rarity, which as a concept is quite cool, until you think about the pony they picked to be their new queen. Rarity the Fashionista, which doesn't make whole lot of sense. What does she actually know that could be harmful to anyone? Sewing trouser legs together while their owners look other way? And watch how they fall to her unspeakably terrible pranks? Twilight could use all of her magic against Celestia. Rainbow Dash has Sonic Rainboom, and Fluttershy could command the armies of animals and dragons against Equestria. And do I even have to mention cupcakes? Oh, here's a better idea. Not go after Main 6 at all. Just capture some bitter sod that doesn't have any friends. Fade to Main 6 to die off, whilst training the Bob Bastard, and after that launch the counterattack. No elements of harmony that someone could use against you. So in conclusion, this comics is not insult just towards bronies, or My Little Pony as a franchise. It's an insult towards children media, the intelligence of people everywhere, and the story arc preceding it. It's so bad, it makes me excited about Equestria Girls. The characters act out of character, especially Luna. Larry is a goddamned idiot, and the full moon lassoing episode causes a massive plot hole that no amount of suspension of disbelief can fix. And the first part is, there's still 2 more issues to be released. My name is Vilinder, and thank God for a birthday so you don't have to.
I have been poisoned by lead, and from this one pencil it spread, and now it's seeped into the thread of all my black clothes.